Fox News alert, 4 hearings underway on Capitol Hill as Senate committees grill President-elect Trump's cabinet picks. They include Mr. Trump's choice to lead the EPA, Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt, as well as South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, nominated to be the U.S. ambassador to the UN, Secretary of Commerce pick billionaire investor Wilbur Ross, and Congressman Tom Price, Mr. Trump's choice for Secretary of Health and Human Services, under especially intense scrutiny as Republicans work to repeal Obamacare. We are monitoring all of these hearings and will bring you breaking news as it develops. Fox News alert. We are looking live at the White House, where President Obama expected to explain his controversial decision to shorten Chelsea Manning's jail sentence when he holds the final news conference of his presidency later today. The move to grant clemency triggering fierce reaction from many on Capitol Hill and in the Pentagon, who consider Manning a traitor. This is Outnumbered. I'm Sandra Smith here today. Harris Faulkner, Megyn McCain, co-host of After the Bell on Fox Business. Melissa Francis is here. And today's hashtag one lucky guy, New York Congressman Peter King, and he is outnumbered. Welcome back, sir. Good to have you.
Here, Sandra.
I saw you in the green room. You were watching those hearings intensely.
You know, I've served with Tom Price for a number of years. He's really a great guy. My wife is from Atlanta. Her sister's a doctor. She knows Dr. Price. And again, Tom and I, whether we agree on every issue or not, he's one of the most honest, honorable people I know. He knows healthcare inside out. He'll be an outstanding secretary.
Very good. All right. We've got a lot more to get to. Let's begin. As we await President Obama's final news conference as commander-in-chief, the firestorm over his decision to shorten the jail sentence for Chelsea Manning, the transgender Army private who leaked more than 700,000 U.S. documents to WikiLeaks and was given 35 years in federal prison. The reaction from lawmakers on both sides, swift and furious. The Republican Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, saying this is just outrageous. Chelsea Manning's treachery put American lives at risk and exposed some of our nation's most sensitive secrets. This from Senator John McCain. It is a grave mistake that I fear will encourage further acts of espionage and undermine military discipline. And from Senator Marco Rubio, it is shameful that President Obama is siding with lawmakers and the ACLU against the men and women who work every day to defend our nation. Some Democrats also blasting President Obama's decision.
I think it's dead wrong. Absolutely dead wrong. This is treason, espionage at the highest level. I'm, for one, not going to be supportive of these types of commutes whatsoever or pardons. I think they're wrong.
I have serious concerns about equivocating sentences when national security is at stake. What message do we send for the next person who thinks that they can get a treasure trove of documents, release them because something inspires them to do so?
And while the White House is defending the president on this, Fox News is learning that outgoing Defense Secretary Ash Carter, as well as top Army leaders, recommended against the president shortening Manning's sentence. And sources tell us defense officials blame Manning's actions for accelerating the Arab Spring and potentially contributing to the rise of ISIS. First off, Congressman, your thoughts on this act by President Obama?
This is absolutely shameful, indefensible, disgraceful. Manning cost lives in Afghanistan. He put American lives at risk, put the lives of our allies, our sources on the ground at risk. We've seen a number of reports that there were killings and murders of those who were found out because of what he leaked out. It's absolutely indefensible how the president could do this. And after denouncing WikiLeaks for the last 6 weeks, because what they allegedly did during the campaign, to be given, commuting the sentence of this person to be 35 years is not even long enough. This is not, some symbolic thing. This was real lives were lost.
And tough to find a Democrat to defend this position. And you just heard there, Joe Manchin critical of this.
Bob Menendez as well, who's an extremely liberal senator. Sometimes I'm glad breaking news like this happens when I'm home alone and not here at work, because I started screaming at my television yesterday afternoon when I was watching the news. To say this is shameful, I don't even think goes further enough. You are condoning people that commit treason. We put our intelligence officers, our troops, our diplomats' lives at risk. As we said, it accelerated the rise of Arab Spring and the rise of ISIS. I don't know where our president his head exactly is at. But you're sending the message to our troops, to the rest of Americans, to our allies overseas, that treasonous acts are condoned as long as it's sort of politically expedient. I'm curious on how he's going to defend this today, and if he's going to maybe in the next 2 days condone Edward Snowden or Julian Assange. It's completely beyond my realm of understanding, and I think it's a huge slap in the face, completely disrespectful to all our troops who do so much to defend us overseas.
And not just defending the decision to shorten Manning's sentence, but also to go against the recommendations we're learning of military leaders.
Yeah, look, I think it's completely fair for those of us in the media and those lawmakers that you listed, both Democrat and Republican, to question this man's credibility when we are told by the White House that he has, quote, accepted responsibility and expressed remorse for her crimes. I think it's within bounds to say, well, how do we know?
Right.
Yeah. How do we know that? Like, what is the litmus test for expressing, I express feverishly, I'm remorseful. I'm curious to know what that would look like, considering the types of crimes that they're talking about.
Yeah, and I don't know if even if she could properly express remorse for this. I mean, the lives were lost. This wasn't some accident. This wasn't like a leak that somebody makes by mistake or they put something out, think it's not going to hurt. This had to hurt. This wasn't just PR. This was life and death. It did hurt.
And knowing the impact that it had, not just on us, but on the world, contributing to the rise of ISIS, it is suggested. What message does this send to the world, Melissa?
I mean, one of the messages it sends is about WikiLeaks. I mean, the administration has spent so much time railing against WikiLeaks and condemning, what we saw during the election and saying Julian Assange was in essence responsible for getting Donald Trump elected. I mean, there's so many Democrats have come out saying basically that the leaks were the things that killed Hillary Clinton. Here you go, and you have someone who released all these documents to WikiLeaks. It's a really bizarre message right now. I can't wait to hear what the president has to say about it. I hope he does address it when he comes out later this afternoon, because I can't even imagine what he's going to say.
What does he say to the families of those people who were in harm's way because of what was released? And we know now the document dump was 3 times the size as what we originally thought it was at 250,000. Now it's closer to 700,000.
Also, and they talk about how Donald Trump has cut himself off the intelligence community. I would like to hear what the intelligence community feels about this. The men and women on the ground in Afghanistan, in Iraq, who try to build up sources and recruits, and they see this happening. It's just
so. What about what Melissa just said, though? I mean, do you see this as a win for WikiLeaks?